Hey, real quick before we jump in, if you got an app, a software solution, or a service that online sellers should know about, why not become a partner of the show? Here at the Ecommerce Coffee Break, we help you get in front of thousands of store owners, e-commerce operators, and DTC brands who are actively looking for tools, experts, and solutions to grow their business. Just head over to ecommercecoffeebreak.com to apply and become a featured guest or sponsor. And now, let's start the show. MOQs force founders to gamble before they have proof. Cash gets locked in inventory, trends move on, boxes sit unsold. And a lot of strong closing ideas never make it to launch, but that old model has changed. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Ecommerce Coffee Break Podcast. Today we're talking about one of the quiet killers of fashion brands, minimum order quantities, also known as MOQs. MOQs force founders to gamble before they have proof. Cash gets locked into inventory, trends move on, boxes sit unsold. And a lot of strong closing ideas never make it to launch. But that old model has changed. New tools and new supply models now let founders sell closing without betting upfront and without waiting months to get started. To break this down, I'm joined by Paul Yu, founder and CEO of EPROLO. Paul launched EPROLO in 2015 with a simple mission: make e-commerce accessible to everyone. Since then, the platform has helped more than 1.6 million sellers launch and scale their businesses with flexible sourcing, fulfillment, and branding tools. So let's dive in. Paul, welcome to the show.
Hi. Thanks, Klaus. Thanks for having me here.
Paul, why do minimum order quantities stop most closing brands before they start?
Actually, when people want to start to sell fashion online, they have to find the product first of all. And, in the old ways, people always have to buy inventory upfront before you start selling, right? But drop shipping, AliExpress, right? That's what everything begins. And people can, use the dropshipping model to import product from AliExpress. And, because AliExpress is kind of like a B2C website, it's for retail. So there's no MOQ for everyone. Yeah. So I think basically at the beginning, people are using AliExpress a lot to start it like fashion dropshipping business.
No, that makes sense. Now, what usually goes wrong when founders just guess demand and order too much stock? What's the risk there?
Actually, we have a merchant who are also facing the same issue, like the inventory issues. It's a seller from Italy. They also have shops in Italy, and also they have online shops. So before the COVID, they mostly focus on local selling, like the shops, the business, which you have to buy a lot of inventory upfront from China, and ship to Italy so that they can put on the shop for sale. And actually they don't sell quite a lot online because they're still doing it in an old way. But after COVID, it's quite a huge impact for the traditional business, which they cause a huge cash flow issues for their business, and they come to us, they find us and talk to us, know what's going on there. And we provide let's say a solution for them. Like maybe you can try to figure it out, not to buy inventory upfront, to test something online, and it works out. And so they can use our service to test product first, because the old way is you have maybe the designer thinks they do some analyzing anyway, and they think this product's going to sell. So they buy inventory upfront, but it's not, working well every time. So there's always that inventory for the old traditional business. And also for some brand owners, like a few years ago, many brand owners on Shopify, they would like to fulfill the orders by themselves. So they buy in bulk, like from, let's say, from China, so they can fulfill the orders from locally, let's say in the US. And, not every product is like you planning, you think it is going to sell well. Right. It's not going to happen. Yeah. So this is the case for, the old way, the traditional business, like no matter what, you're selling on the shops or online shops, it's always you will have inventory issues.
It makes perfect sense. And I think a lot of merchants and a lot of our listeners are in the apparel and fashion industry, as I know, had the sort of bad experience that they sold stock and then it didn't sell, and then they have to sell it underpriced just to clear their inventory. Now, you mentioned there's a better way. And with EPROLO, you came up with an idea to optimize this. Talk me through the different steps to work with flow and how it looks for a merchant?
Okay, cool. I think we started this like branding program like 5 years ago because there are so many sellers. They are placing their orders, like they're buying from AliExpress. That's the drop shipping. And, there are so many shops on AliExpress, so many random brands, and all the fashion sellers have their own brand. And, when they place an order on AliExpress, well, the AliExpress seller will ship their orders to the customers. But the bad thing is the item is sewn on like some random logos, not the one with the sellers, right? So, many ladies, they would like to buy like a few items, let's say maybe 1, 2, 3. And when they receive the parcel, what they order from let's say the website, it comes with many different logos and many different parcels. It looks all so different. And which like the consumer will curious about like, well, I'm buying from you only, but I receive like, 3 different parcels from different places and with different logos. What's going on, right? So that's the key problem, like what they are all facing. They have to because AliExpress has no MOQ, right? But for fashion sellers, they need a lot of new items to keep following the trends. They need to keep uploading new items. But what it comes with the problem is the customers is not happy. I'm buying from you. Let's say your brand is ABC, but when I receive the items, it's not come with the logo like ABC, right? That's the main issue. So people be like, say, oh, this is probably like drop shipping or probably like some scam or something, right? So that's the problem. So what we're doing is, we have like a huge supply chain, like a lot of suppliers behind us. We take care of the sourcing and we find the product. It will be shipped to our warehouse first. And your brand, your logo, all the material is custom made in our warehouse. So we'll receive let's say, receive the dress. We will remove the original tags of the dress, like with some other random logos. First of all, we'll remove the original tag and we sew on your brand, the tag with your brand. And also we have like some custom bags, boxes, all printed with your logos. And we repack it and then we ship it out. So when a customer received the parcels from you, let's say of everything is like matched, I buy from ABC brand and we receive item with the ABC brand tag. But, that's like, we take care of like the change, let's say the name changing job in our warehouse. So that's, the solution what we've been providing for the fashion sellers. Like actually, this is fantastic. Everyone loves it.
I think it's a very smart solution to a problem, as you said, that many buyers had in the problem. And you as a merchant, as an online seller, can finally build up a brand because everything is labeled with your brand name. Everything is packed with your brand name and so on and so forth. And with that, obviously, people will recognize you, that it is coming from you and probably will buy more from you. When we're talking about apparel and fashion, there's a lot of seasons involved there. And a lot of planning for the next season. I want to talk a little bit about the timelines that are involved when ordering from EPROLO to make sure that you get the right products ready for the right season. How does that work?
That's actually, we are not like quite involved of the to find a trending product for our customers, like let's say the sellers. Mostly they find the item, like the trending item themselves, and we take care of the sourcing, right? That's mainly how it works. So actually, also we have a sourcing team, like we will like look, let's say, let's go to Amazon, let's go to Shopify, see what's, the best seller is, what's the style right now. We will also pick some new items from our supplier and list it on our website for our clients to choose from.
Okay, no, that makes perfect sense. Now, when with clothing, you say it gets shipped out from your address and then directly to customer, or does it go first to the online seller and then to the customer?
The parcel is shipped from our warehouse. Like we have several warehouses in China. Because China is big, we have to make sure the shipping is efficient, right? Because, if let's say the supply chain is from the north, the goods will go to the nearest warehouse. So that's why we have several warehouses in China. Also, we have warehouses, let's say in the US, Europe, to make sure we can ship it as fast as possible. So yeah, but in general, the product is shipped from our warehouse, directly from our warehouse to the consumer.
Perfect. Now, When it comes to different platforms, and you mentioned Shopify, you mentioned Amazon, how does the ordering process work?
It's pretty simple though. So our platform is integrated with, let's say, Shopify, eBay, Amazon, WooCommerce, many other platforms. So if you have installed our app, let's say, and you can integrate our platform to your shops, let's say any like Amazon, eBay. Once it's integrated, everything's automatic. Like products, orders, they're automatic sync to like between the shop and our platform. You just need to log in and, if you have an order, you pay for it and it's on process. We will ship it out like as ASAP.
Okay. That's very good. Now, what's the first step that a merchant needs to do when they look into branding and they want to work with you? What's the onboarding process? What steps are involved? How long does it take?
Actually, you just need to provide the logo, right, of your brand. Yeah. Once it's confirmed, start the production. Like we have machines in our warehouse. We can customize it, your logo tag, hand tag, the bags, everything. And it's pretty cheap. You pay like 19.9, let's say $20, and we go custom made all those things for you and ready there in our warehouse. And once you have an order, we will sew the brand tag on the items before it can be shipped out.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the products itself. What kind of products do you work with? What kind of verticals or niches?
At the beginning, we basically like no limit. Once it's made in China and the merchants want it, we want us to source. We'll do the sourcing if it's made in China and we're able to locate it, right? Like from 2015, I say to 2020, we basically like everything. But, after that, we realized, you can't like want everything, right? Yeah, we must have something like you are mainly focused on and you are kind of like the pro in this, let's say, area or industry. So we chose the most difficult one, fashion, because there are so many, like, let's say, SKUs, sizes, colors, suppliers, and it changes all the time because, different seasons, different style, different trends. So that's quite like, the most difficult part you have to deal with. Yeah. So now we still like, do the thought thing if the merchants want, but we mainly focus on fashion because I think if you want to focus on, let's pick the hard part, not the easy part. Otherwise, anyone can do it.
No, that's very true. And again, fashion and apparel is probably the biggest industry out there when it comes to online commerce. Now, you have worked in the last couple of years with many, many different brands. Can you give some examples or case studies of brands you have worked with? And you don't need to name the brand and show what kind of results they had.
I think it's better to share a story like about a merchant from zero, like let's say, and to now they do multi-million per year. But this is something like a beginner who started like drop shipping until successfully business. So there's a team like from New York, right? And they chose fashion and they want to start drop shipping because it's kind of like you don't have to invest too much money at the beginning. And the key for everyone, I think, have to do first is to do the homework of like what kind of product you really, really want to focus on. And let's say fashion is a big category. There's like for men, for ladies, for kids, for many, many others. But, you can't want them all. You need to find a really, really small niche because you are a beginner and you don't have that much funds to invest and, you don't have that much chance to make the mistake. Maybe probably like 1-2 times your business will be done. So you have to do like, let's say we do the Google analyze it using the tools to see what's the chance and better not the big category. Let's say you are doing like socks, right? But there's many type of socks. And the story is they don't pick like general socks for everyone. They pick the socks for like the ladies who love yoga. Yeah. And so they find this small niche and focus on this small niche. So this is pretty good. Why? Because you are really easy to find your audience. And even though those audiences are small, but you have a bigger chance to like, let's say to get a business running. So at the beginning, they chose like, let's say the socks for yoga. And yeah, after like, let's say, I think after 2 months, they having like 10 to 20 orders, right? So they actually do quite a good job. I don't want to mention the number because I don't want the beginners to think this is really easy, because they do have a talent team and they did something like not everyone can do, right? But the key is you want everything. You need to find something small to focus on at the beginning. Actually, when they doing a great job on the socks business, actually, their audience, they are all ladies, right? And they have a pretty targeted audience, and they want to expand. And how? Because this audience, they are like sports, like yoga and go to the gym, these are young, and so you have to find another product also is small and fit those audience. That's the next step. And what they do is they do the yoga shoots. And yeah, because you already have those followers on Instagram, you have already have those customers there. You have the emails list, you have their contact. You just let them know we have a new launch brand, only focus on the yoga shoots. It's much more easier because you already have some customer like a brand because they're happy about the socks product. Yeah, that's the step 2, how they expand. And I have to say right now, they have 4 brands and they are all for ladies. Yeah, but they do it step by step with a pretty small niche. Yeah, because I do believe that if you are a newbie, you are a beginner, you are doing e-commerce, it's really, really important to find a really, really small niche to practice, right? To make small mistakes like running ads, like designing your shops, finding a supplier, a lot of things you have to learn and get experience, right? You can't think I want to go a million within a year. That's not gonna happen. So it's better to do it slow and small, because nowadays e-commerce, unlike, let's say, I was doing e-commerce back into 2010, 15 years ago. I was selling on AliExpress, on eBay. That's pretty easy because there's not that much competitor. But now it's 15 years later, people know about e-commerce. So yeah, it's not easy like that before. So yeah, it's pretty important. You have to start small and focus on small things that, those big competitors, they don't even want it. So you got a chance to survive and you don't feel that, difficult to start everything. Yeah.
I like the story that you shared, Paul, because it makes absolutely sense. And a lot of listeners probably have been in this situation, or when they're starting now will be in the situation. There's a lot of learning involved. And when you start with a very small niche, as you mentioned, it's so much easier to get into it and don't try to be everything to everyone. That probably is a recipe for failure. So really good example there. Now, obviously, EPROLO helps with that, and you get to start very, very quickly. Who's your perfect customer?
Actually, this is one of the reasons we launched this branding program, because what we have seen in from 2015 until now, what we are seeing, who is the biggest clients we have and who is the survivor, from the beginning until now. What we're seeing is the brand owners who focus on a small niche at the beginning, right? And trying to build a brand. And a brand is not just a logo or it's just some letters, right? It's about the product, the service, everything, a lot of things around it. So they build quite a high standard of everything. They want the best quality of product. They want the best shipping speed for the clients. They want the best after service for them. So actually they have all this high standard, which is all I believe this is what the consumer likes, right? I don't like it, I can return it. I receive a defect product. I can get a refund. I can get a new one. I feel safe to buy from you, and I'm happy about, the product I received from you. So I'm happy about the money I spent. So maybe I'll keep buying. So they keep doing this from the beginning until now. I believe this is our favorite clients, because we choose to focus on fashion because you don't have the ability to manage all the supply chain in China because it's a huge one, right? And for our warehouse management, you can't have everything, right? So your team has to separate into different small teams to manage each part. That's not going to happen, right? Because we have to focus. So that's much more easier for us to manage the supply chain because we only have to deal with the fashion suppliers. We keep learning and we keep finding good suppliers. We have the foundation. Yeah. And, we have an experienced team, only dealing with, let's say, fashion. So basically, we don't have that much product had to deal with. And it's stable because, if you're a brand owner, you are selling, let's say, dresses, you want chance to like selling some clothes for men or for kids. Maybe basically we'll focus on lady part for several years. So our supply chain is stable. We don't have to deal with new suppliers, right? Because there's a risk there because you don't know the supplier. It's always the first time to deal with them. You have no idea what they are, and it's risky to do so. But if you only focus on and work with those stable brand because they quite, making the customer happy, which I believe they are building let's say a long lasting business, which is benefit to both because you only focus on this category and we have to focus on one category. It's quite simple. And, we can put in our main energy into this area. And now what I'm seeing is, who is always there, placing orders, generating sales are these brand owners. That's why we, launched this like branding program. We try to help dropshippers and help them to understand you can't do dropshipping like, let's say 2015 or 17. Yeah, it's pretty popular and you can easily make money out of it. But now it's the different day. So you have to, have that perspective of what e-commerce is going to be in the future or what it is right now. Yeah. So now luckily we have more than 2,700 brand owners with us because this number like 5 years ago is kept just a few. But now with the branding program, we have more than nearly 3,000. I think next year we'll reach 3,000, which is perfect because I believe this is fantastic because we don't have to deal with a lot of things. One thing to do is fashion. Yeah, we only have to deal with the fashion suppliers in China. Everything is about fashion. So our team, they're happy because we do the thing let's say, we can't say the thing we like. I think it's the thing we were good at, right? We feel confident when we like providing the service.
You used one of my favorite words in business, and that is focus. Focus on the things that you're good in and focus on people to work with that are good in a specific field that you're not good in. And working with someone like EPROLO, who is a specialist with a focus on fashion, that's a good start to build a brand. Now, obviously, you want to make money as well. How is your pricing structure working?
Actually, the app is free to use, right? It's completely free. There's no upfront cost, and you only have to pay when you have an order to fulfill it. Right, you just need to pay for the orders and the shipping, and that's it. So there's no any other cost. You just feel free to find new product here, upload product to your shops. It's just free. You only have to pay when you have an order.
Well, that's a no-brainer. Obviously, that makes it very easy to start a business and to grow a business.